Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. We're just going to do a regular old mat class, no equipment necessary, just a mat. So let's get started. We're going to start sitting in the center of your mat, your knees bent, hands behind your thighs, and just use your hands to gently pull yourself up. So your back is nice and straight, elbows are reaching out to the side, sitting up nice and tall. Relax the tension in the front of the hips. Take an inhale. Exhale, tuck under, and just roll back just a little bit off your sit bones. You should still be touching the back of your thighs. Inhale, restack up. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, restack. So just going through a little bit of an imprint or a pelvic tilt to roll yourself off the sit bones, flexing through the spine, and then bringing yourself back up into your neutral position. So you're bringing in your spine into what we call a C curve. So it's curved like the letter C. Now hold it back here, reach your arms forward. We're just going to go through without holding on to the back of the arms. So you're going to tuck and roll. Inhale, restack up and roll. And again, this is a really awesome way just to warm up your back. Going to move through the pelvis if you're feeling a little stiff or tight. And now we're going to roll all the way down to the ground. So nice and slow. Trying to get each section of the spine one at a time to touch down onto the mat. So low back, middle back, and then the head comes down last. Fabulous. All right, still lying on your back, knees bent in your shoulder bridge position, arms resting at your side, palms down, going into your neutral pelvis. So a little bit of an arch in the low back. On an exhale, I want you to squeeze through the glutes, tuck the tailbone under again, rolling up till you're resting the weight between the shoulder blades, and then I want you to inhale, reach your arms back behind you, exhale, roll down. Arms can just reach back to the ceiling again. So it's exhale to curl up, inhale to reach back, exhale to start to sink down. So just really working through more of the mid and upper back with the arms reaching behind. And just really think of stretching the spine along the mat. Articulating through each vertebrae one at a time. Last time here. Perfect. Going into your neutral pelvis, hands behind your head, fingers are clasped together. You should be able to see your elbows. They shouldn't be super far out to the side, so just slightly pointing forward. Exhale to curl the head and shoulders up into your abdominal curl, and then bring it down. Sometimes you'll hear this being called a chest lift. It's basically an ab prep. You're just starting to kind of prepare your abs for all the excitement in the next half an hour or so. Gotta take it while we can get it nowadays. So as you're curling up, you're focusing on the movement through the rib cage moving to the hips, but the pelvis staying still and stable. So your low back isn't shoving or jamming into the floor. Hold it up, and we're going to go into our obliques. So keeping your hands behind your head, you're going to exhale, twist to one side. Come to the middle on your inhale, and then you twist to the other side. One of the tricks of these is to keep your legs still and your pelvis still. So you're really stabilizing the lower half of your body as you just twist and rotate a little bit through the mid section of your spine. Keep curled up, one more on each side. Come back to the center, curl up just a little higher if you can. Perfect, and then release it all the way back down, and then we're going to you're going to roll yourself up and onto the stomach. So we're going to do one more warm up here, more for that middle back. So you're going to reach your arms straight out in front of you, thumbs are facing up, the legs are shoulder width apart, and your head is slightly lifted. And I want you to press the pubic bone gently into the mat, and imagine pulling your belly button away from the floor, okay? And then shoulders are relaxed down. You're going to exhale, lift the opposite arm and leg up, just kind of float it up, and then bring it down. And then you do the other one. Keeping that little bit of a press of the pubic bone into the mat. Okay? So when you're lifting the leg and the arm, there's no real change in the way your back feels. You shouldn't feel like you kind of sink into the floor or your back arches more. It's that when you lift, your abdominals need to pull away from the floor. So drawing them up or squeezing them up. Now I want you to lift both arms and legs up. And it's just a little hover. Perfect. And then release it down. Exhale, hover. Inhale, down. So you just get that little bit of a lift. You can see my back's not really changing its shape much. Think of it's almost like stretching the arms and legs out. Then we're going to hold it up. Then we're going to do the opposite arm and leg in this position. So it's a very small flutter. So the one arm lifts, the opposite leg lifts, and then you're switching. And then you want to breathe in this one. So you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2. Keeping the abdominals pulled up, pubic bone pressing, head and chest lifted. It's hard to breathe and talk and do this at the same time. And I want you guys all to hold your arms and legs still now. Stretch them long. And then release it down. Perfect. And then press up onto the hands and knees, rounding the spine and just sitting back for your shell stretch. And then bringing yourself into your tabletop position. Hands are flat unless you need to put them in a fist if it bothers your wrist in this position. Knees are going to be under your hips. So wherever your hip bones are, your kneecaps should be pretty much underneath them. And you're going to go into what you feel like is a neutral pelvis. So sometimes if people do kind of a little tuck and arch a couple times, and then you want to find somewhere where it feels like you're in the middle. Tucking your toes under. On a breath out, I want you, without shifting your weight forward, lift the knees off the mat 1/2 inch. And then lower them down. This is our leg pull prep. So your back is flat. And you're just hovering your knees literally like 1/4 inch. The trick is not to shift all your weight forward. Keep an even amount of weight in the hands and the feet. Now I want you to try and do it and arch your back around your spine. So you're going to exhale. Inhale, straighten the back and bring the knees down. Exhale. So it's just a little bit of a curl, but the knees are still just hovering. The higher your knees go, the easier it's going to be for you to curl your spine. And that's not what I want. I want you to have to work for it a little bit. Last time. And then just sitting back to the heels, walking the hands forward, and giving your shoulders a bit of a stretch. All right, gonna come up, work a little bit on the side kick. So you'll be lying on your side with your bottom arm straight. The legs are straight, but they're gonna be angled forward, almost on a 45-degree angle. Hips are stacked, but you've got that little lift in your waist. Top leg is up. Okay, so keeping that lift in your waist. Inhale, kick your leg forward. Inhale, kick it forward again. Point and sweep. Now you guys get to see the bottom of my feet. Inhale, inhale, sweep. In, sweep. And again, as your leg sweeps behind you, your butt muscle is what's moving the leg behind. So we're going to try and squeeze that glute in. And your abdominals are helping you stabilize the spine as your leg moves around. Sweep. 2 more. Fantastic. And then release it all the way down. Nice and straightforward, that one. Other side. Okay, and we'll just kind of get your hips warmed up a little bit. So legs in front, waist is slightly lifted, top leg is up. So inhale, kick, exhale, point and sweep. Upper body is nice and still. So you don't want a lot of movement through your back, basically, right? As your leg reaches behind you, I don't want you to kind of drop forward. Think abs, 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 even if you feel like you don't need them in this one. Two more. Give your hamstrings a nice stretch. Perfect. And release down. All right, so I think we are warmed up. So we're going to go into our single and double leg stretch and scissor series. So on your back, hands are going to come behind your head for the first one. Imprinted legs in a tabletop, curl the head and shoulders up. Okay, really curl it up. Now take your hands and bring them behind your thighs and pull your chest up forward a little bit higher, reaching your arms now on this kind of 45-degree angle. God, I talk a lot, don't I? Let's start this. So exhale, reach one leg out, the other knee bends in, switch. Keep your arms just reaching. Then you can gently bring the knee in using the hands. For 10, 9, 8, 7, curl up a little higher if you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep yourself up. If your head is really, your neck's tired, put the neck and head down. Exhale, reach both arms out, both legs out, circle the arms around, bend the knees in. As your arms and legs reach out, maintain that nice strong ab curl. 4. Keep it going. We only have 4 more to go. Really curl it up. Don't lose that ab curl. 2 more. Last one. And then bring it down. The head can come down. Last one is the scissors. So curling the head and shoulders up. I want you to reach one leg up, one leg out. Okay, now use your hands gently to pull yourself forward. And we're going to do a double pump. So we're going to go switch, switch, switch. Perfect. So really keep yourself curled up and using the hands to gently pulse that leg towards you and gently pulling yourself up into a nice strong ab curl. 4, 3, 2, last one, and then hug the knees and bring it all the way in. Fantastic. Just straighten the legs out, arms behind you. Give yourself a really quick stretch. And then we're going to go into our single leg shoulder bridge. So still lying on your back for this one. Knees are going to be bent, palms facing the floor, opening still though. Think of your front of your chest. You want to have it nice and wide. You know, I don't want you to feel it all rounded up towards the ceiling. So think really wide collarbone, neutral pelvis, lift the hips up into your shoulder bridge. Before we start with the leg lifts, make sure both butt muscles are squeezing. Abdominals are strong. Inhale, extend one leg to the ceiling. Flex that foot and lower the leg down on your exhale. Inhale, sweep it back up. For 10. Keep that opposite glute squeezing. 5 more on my count. I tend to count this one pretty well. It's a tough one. 2 more. Bend that knee to bring the foot down. Lift the other leg up on your inhale. Really extending it long. Flex and lower. Point and lift for 10. 9. You're doing a great job. Just keep going. It's hard to keep those hips up, but really think squeeze your butt muscle to keep your hips up. 5 more. Reach that leg long as you stretch it away. 2 more. Bring the foot down. Keep your hips up. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then to come down, I want you to roll the spine all the way back down. And then just bring your ankle up on your thigh. Pull the legs in. Give yourself this stretch. It's your reward for so far so good. Great stretch. And then we'll switch legs. This is a good stretch to do if you're stuck sitting at a home office desk all day or on the couch. Depends. And then we're going to come up, just hug your knees into your chest, and roll yourself all the way back up. Alrighty, so legs are going to start straight out in front of you in our roll down position. Arms are reaching in front, and I want you to sit up as tall as you can. Alright, now on an inhale, you're going to lengthen, nice and tall. Exhale, you're going to roll down. All the way down till the arms are reaching behind you without letting your back arch away from the mat. So you should feel like the back of your rib cage is kind of touching the mat. Okay? Then you're going to exhale, roll up. Inhale, roll down. Let me rephrase that. Let's start again. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, lengthen up. And then exhale, roll down. Inhale, reach behind. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, roll down. Now, if you want to make this more challenging, on the roll down, I want you to float one foot up. So the one leg is lifted, And keep it that height as you roll down. And then as you roll up. You bring it down, and then you would lift the other leg up. So you're exhaling, you're rolling down, trying to keep that leg lifted the same height and as still as you can keep it. So your quad muscle has to work. And then just alternating side to side. Try to do 3 rounds on each leg. Or 6 without the leg lifted. Really squeeze that thigh muscle when you're holding that leg strong. I've got 1 more on each leg. Take your time. If you're not finished yet, continue or finish off with your roll-ups, and then when you're ready, come all the way up, reaching to your feet. Stretching out through the hamstrings. And then we're going to go into the roll over. So basically bringing you into the opposite position we just were in. So we're going to be starting on our back. Knees are going to be bent, arms are at your side, palms are down. You're going to bring the legs in a tabletop position. You want to be neutral in your pelvis if you can. Okay, to start in this position. And then I want you to reach your legs straight up to the ceiling. That can be a little harder to stay neutral. So if you need to imprint, you can imprint. And then you take a deep breath to get ready. Your exhale, you roll over. Okay? My chair is in the way. Okay. Open the legs up, hip distance apart. Flex the feet today. So get that really great stretch in the back of your legs and roll down as controlled as you can. Then I want you to point your feet, circle the legs out to the side and away from you, like that. So inhale, hinge at the hips. Exhale, roll up. Inhale, open the feet, flex them. Exhale, roll down. Point the feet, circle the legs away on that angle. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale, roll up. It's really hard to keep the tension out of the shoulders, but do the best you can. I don't know if you guys can see my legs shaking. They are shaking. We've got 1 more round to go. When you're done, hug your knees into your chest to give yourself a quick little break, and then roll yourself all the way back up. And we're going to work through the saw and then some push-ups. Yay. So the saw, you want to have your legs straight, feet are wider than your hips, okay, and you're sitting up nice and tall. So again, if you're tight like me, you can bend the knees a little bit. Arms out to your side, okay. Inhale, rotate to one leg. Exhale, flex forward, reach to the outside of that foot. Turn your back palm to the ceiling. Then keep the arms in that position as you restack and come to the middle. Inhale, twist. Exhale to the outside of the foot. Inhale, up. Exhale, forward. So it's twist, flex, restack, forward. Twist, flex. This is a great way to work through your spine and your hips and your legs and your shoulders. It's a really good all-around exercise. 1 more on each side. You twist, you really stretch. Last one. Bringing yourself legs closer together, flexing forward, reaching towards the feet. Give yourself a quick break, and then we're going to go into push-ups. So, push-ups. You can do on the knees, obviously. If you can do quality push-ups with your legs lifted, go for it. We're going to get into the position. Okay, so we're not going to start standing up today. So you're going to get in whatever push-up position you feel is comfortable for you. And think of your ribs. Your rib cage shouldn't be kind of sunk down and your back arched. You see that a lot with push-ups. When you think of tucking your ribs up, so you feel like your back is straight and your head stays between the shoulders. So the head doesn't lead in your push-up. It's a really hard concept to grasp sometimes, but I really want you to try to work on that today. So we're going to do 3 push-ups. So you're going to inhale, bend the elbows out to the side, keep your head between the shoulders, don't let the head lead you. Exhale, come up. So imagine someone's almost pulling your head back. One more. Hold it here, go into your plank position. Heels are pressing to the floor. Holding this position for 10. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then pressing yourself up into almost like a downward dog position. Heels pushing to the floor, stretching out through the back of the legs. Come back to your plank and then go into your push-up position for 4 push-ups. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press up for 4, 3, 2, 1. Plank position again. So lifting those legs, keeping those heels pressing towards the floor. Keeping the abdominals pulled in. Those legs should be strong. 3, 2, 1. And then again going into that, what's that, downward dog type position. Just stretch it out. Going back down to 3 push-ups. Find your position. Inhale, lower. Exhale, press up for 3, 2, 1. Now, don't go into the straight arm plank. I want you guys all to come down on your elbows. Lift up into a plank in that position. We're going to hold this position. Try to think of relaxing the shoulders away from your ears. Almost lifting your chest away from the floor. Pressing the heels to the floor and holding it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it down. Open your legs up about hip width apart. And then just press yourself up into extension. So you're just trying to do a little bit of a back stretch here. Fantastic. And then you're going to push up. And we're going to sit in the middle of the mat for a neck pull prep. So a neck pull prep is very similar to a half roll back. So your sitting with your knees bent. Fingertips are going to either go kind of at your temples or behind your head. Okay, I like to go by my temples here. Elbows pointing out to the sides, pretty straightforward. You take an inhale to lengthen tall. Exhale, tuck and roll back. Inhale, hold it. Exhale, flex forward. Inhale, restack up. Exhale, roll. Breathe in to hold. Exhale, flex. Restack up and roll. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Make sure your feet stay touching the ground. Roll. Pull those abdominals in. It's almost like you're pulling your rib cage back when you flex forward. You're going to initiate with your abdominals. 2 more. One more. Sitting up tall, arms are reaching out in front now, palms facing the ceiling. You're going to tuck and roll back, but this time, drop the hand down and back, rotate, look back to your hand, and then bring the hand back down and forward again, and come all the way up. Other side, so you tuck, rotate, reach. So you're drawing a semicircle or half moon with your hand. Hips are staying still, legs don't come together, they stay apart. The movement is through your rib cage or your mid-back. I don't know if you guys can see on the film, every time I come up, my one butt cheek kind of clicks. Going to the chiropractor soon, get myself realigned. I can't wait. One more on each side. And then relax it all the way down into our side bends. So we're going to come bottom foot hooked behind the top foot. This is one of the more challenging exercises to do. You can do it on your elbow. Okay, you don't have to be on your straight arm if it hurts the wrist. Okay, the same concept applies though. We're keeping the feet together, the bottom leg can stay down, and you lift up. So the bottom knee's touching, right? And down. You can do it with your elbow, just a really quick demo. Okay, or you can do the full one. Okay, so pick your poison. If you're doing the full one, feet are further away, lifting all the way up. Okay, and if you've already started, it's 8 of each. Reach it up and bend. Think of squeezing your inner thighs together. Squeeze. Butt muscle squeezes everything. It's always about squeezing. I've got 5 more on my count. And when you're doing these, you're bending. You're not holding kind of a side plank. You're actually lifting through the side plank and bending. 2 more. 1 more. Perfect. Swinging around. Pick your position, whether it's elbow bend, arms straight, half or full side bend, and you can start. Reach it up and bend. And again, the full one, you want to squeeze the inner thighs together. So it's pretty active through the legs. And it's 8 on each side, right? Halfway for me. Really get that nice side bend, flex. Feel that bottom waist working, last time. Woo, fantastic. And then you're gonna go into a nice little quick shell stretch. So you're gonna round the spine, sit to your heels, a little stretch. And then we're also gonna pull out rolling like a ball today. So rolling like a ball is quite fun, but once you get the hang of it, the abs do work quite a bit. So you roll off the sit bones. So you're balanced there. The feet are going to be lifted. You can have today your hands either here. You can put them here as well. But try to see if you can keep them on your shins today. On an exhale, you're basically tucking under. You're deepening your abs. You're rolling back between your shoulder blades and rolling forward. So you're trying to roll through the entire spine. So you're trying to avoid that clunk you get when you roll back. That's where the abdominals come in. So really have to tuck and really, really deepen the flexion of the curve of your spine as you go back. You lower your eye line towards your abdominals. That can often help. The idea is not to be able to, you don't want to use your arms to roll you back up, but they're there to help, right? Couple more here. It's quite fun. It massages your back. It's lovely. 1 more for good luck. Perfect. Straighten those legs in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. Take an inhale. Exhale. Flex forward through the spine, reaching to the feet. Take a nice inhale here. And then exhale, roll the spine up. 1 vertebrae at a time. Fantastic. All right, we are going to go on to the back, working through some more rotation. So arms are going to reach out to your side, palms down. You're going to bring your legs in a tabletop, squeeze the knees together. You're in your neutral pelvis. This is our spine twist. So on an inhale, both legs lower to one side, but look at your kneecaps. Okay, they both should be the same height. And then when you exhale, you roll the legs back up. So have a look at them when you go to lower. One leg always ends up looking shorter than the other. So you have to readjust your hips. It's hard when I can't help you with this one, but as you lower, the one hip is coming away from the mat. So if you just try to keep, like I said, try to keep the knees the same height, then you know you've got the hips level. This is lulling you into a false sense of security here. It's a nice little stretch break here. 1 more on the other side. Now I want you to reach behind your legs and extend them nice and straight. Okay, so the knees are right above the hips Your hands are helping you pull your chest forward. Fantastic. All right, now bringing one hand behind your head, then your other hand. Hold this position. Exhale, reach one leg away, one leg towards you, and switch. If this is too much, go back to the one we did earlier in the class where you're pulling the legs towards you, okay? Because it can be really hard on the hips and the lower back. For 8 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it in. Fantastic. And roll yourself all the way back up. And then I'm going to get you to sit cross-legged. If you are comfortable like this, stay like this. If you can, take your left leg and uncross it. So your left hip is kind of turned in. And then you're going to come up nice and tall. Inhale, lift your left arm up. Exhale, bend to the side. Inhale, come up, reach your other arm up, and bend to that side. So our little mermaid stretch. Just nice to get a little bit of lateral or side bending. Try to move your spine, right? So bending, flexing, extending, rotating, getting all those movements in. That's why you get such a good stretch from Pilates, as well as lots of muscle work. And we're gonna switch to the other side. So let's pop it around. So right leg comes behind, up nice and tall. Your inhale, right arm comes up. Exhale, bend. Inhale and exhale. If you find it's a little bit hard in this position, just go into the cross leg position. And I can even feel, I can definitely feel I need an adjustment. You just sometimes this is a great way to feel if your hips are a little bit out or one side of your back's a little tighter than the other, because it's forcing you in all kinds of strange positions. One more here. Last time. Perfect. Fantastic. All right, mermaid is done. We're going to move into a little bit of back extension. So you're going to be on your stomach, legs wide, feet are pointed. Okay, so your feet should be a little wider than your mat. Hands are at your side of your head, elbows are down. Head's going to start slightly lifted. I want you to think of activating your legs, so thighs, butt, everything squeezing. Your pubic bones pressing into the mat. And it's almost like your belly button is pulling away from the floor. And on an inhale, I want you to start to let your head and chest rise. If you can go further, the elbows will lift and you'll come up into extension. And then exhale, stretch through the top of the head as the elbows come down, and then the chest comes down, and then the head comes down. So it's our swan dive here. Inhale up, keeping the glutes strong, and then exhale, lower. If you want to take this up a notch, you're going to lift as you normally would. As soon as you start to lower, think of your feet starting to lift and your kneecaps lifting so that the legs are actually lifted up. Then, as the legs start to lower, your head and chest lifts. So it's like a seesaw. So as you start to lengthen away, the legs float up. This is where you're going to get a lot of glute work and leg work and back work. So keep your butt squeezing as those legs float up. If your mat isn't really thick, this might be a little bit hard on the pubic bone. If you're just wondering, that is normal. Last round here. And when you're done, I want you to bring the legs together, hands under the forehead, bend the knees, and I want you in this position to bring your heels together, your toes apart, and let your knees open up just a little bit wider than your hips. So they shouldn't be off the mat. And then pressing your pubic bone a little bit gently into the floor, holding this position, and exhale, squeeze your heels together as your butt tightens, and then release. So when you're doing this, there's not a lot of movement in your back. You can see me, when I squeeze, you can't really tell in my back that I'm doing much. The idea is to isolate your glutes. Your thighs are not lifting off the floor. It's just that squeeze of the heels and the squeeze of the really deep, deep, deep down glutes. Last two here. This looks like we're resting. It's a good exercise though. Perfect. And then release the legs. Bring yourself up onto your hands and knees, into your tabletop position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under, rounding the spine, letting the head lower down. Take an inhale. And then exhale, uncurl the spine, lengthening it out, lifting the head. So exhale, round. I want you to take a deep breath in to hold the flexion. And then exhale to uncurl and lengthen out. Last time. Keeping the back straight, sitting towards the heels, walking the hands forward, lowering the chest and the head to the floor. Just taking a few deep breaths in here. And when you're ready, on your own time, slowly bring yourself all the way back up. And you're finished. Fantastic. That was great. Good class. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And today's Tuesday. This class was at least filmed on Tuesday. So I'm going to be posting this. You've already watched it, so you've already seen it being posted. I'm going to do another one on Wednesday as well. So I'll have another one Wednesday morning posted as well. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.